Hello my friends, this is Wakeangel2K1 coming at you with a review of the crossover transformer Gigawatt. And yes, you are supposed to pronounce that with a soft G, and if you do not, then you are a heathen. Now, just like his predecessor, Ectotron, Gigawatt comes in a G1 style packaging box with a nice big window to showcase the figure within in car mode, pictures of his robot and vehicle mode side by side, tech specs on the back along with his function. You're never out of time when you're a time machine. When Marty and Doc Brown need a ride through time, Gigawatt is ready to fly. And I love how he has modified tech specs that are all his own. Like, you have strength, intelligence, speed, firepower. Like, I'm surprised his speed is 10, because, you know, like, it's so difficult for him to get up to 88 miles per hour. But he also has, like, flux and time. And I love the fact that despite the fact that time traveling is his whole thing, it's only an 8. And also, as a cheeky little thing, when you open the side of the box, underneath it says 1.21 gigawatts with the picture of the flux capacitor diagram. That is very, very cute. And just a quick comparison, the Ectotron box, like I said, is very similar. It's just that since Ectotron is Voyager sized, it's significantly bigger. Okay, so let's get Gigawatt out of his box and take a look at that sweet, sweet DeLorean mode. Oh, just real quick, I just like to notice that inside the cardboard insert is actually pictures of what a stock DeLorean looks like without any of the time traveling modifications, and a picture of the flux capacitor, and like. It's way too small to actually read, but there's like actual notes written all over, like this is some kind of blueprint. Is any of that actually legible? If you are considering a car in the luxury class, take a careful look at this detailed It explains a few of the reasons the luxury car of 1985. Okay, yeah, it's they needed to print that a little bit clearer. I couldn't read half of it. Okay, so here is Ectotron in his DeLorean mode, stock out of the box. Now, real quick, I'm just going to bring in Ectotron for comparison. Ectotron, like I said, being a Voyager class figure, is significantly larger, although are they in scale with each other? I mean, the DeLorean is a smaller sports car, while Ectotron, I think, is supposed to be like a modified hearse. And I know a hearse is like a limo for dead people. But I would like to say that the panel lines on Ectotron, on Gigawatt, aren't quite as noticeable as they are in Ectotron. I think it's because maybe because Ectotron splits apart in a lot of places where cars don't normally split apart, so you see lines there. Or maybe it's because like this is so stark white, while this actually has like some kind of texture to it. If you look close, there's actually grain there. It actually looks like you know, the DeLorean's metal surface that has that slight scuffiness to it, because as we all know, traveling through time is actually pretty rough on the exterior. That's actually why the thing had so many mechanical problems, because like remember the first time it came out of the time tunnel, it was like the surface of it was cold and a whole bunch of frost had formed on it. That can't be good for an internal combustion engine. So in this form, you have a couple of accessories. You have Ectotron's gun. You have the hook, which was used to catch lightning at the end of the first movie, and the gun actually splits apart into the main component and a Mr. Fusion. You may remember Mr. Fusion as in the second movie, it would allow you to make fusion energy with random trash instead of having to use plutonium. So you can have the stock original version of the time machine as seen in the first movie, and you can plug in your little hook right here on a provided peg hole so that you're ready to catch the lightning bolt from a hanging wire and zoop into the future. Or if you like the sequel better, you can go ahead and stick Mr. Fusion right onto this little circular thing on the back of the vehicle. And I think I put it on backwards. Boop. Yeah, like that. And then you have the Back to the Future 2 vehicle mode. And yes, you can angle the wheels down, although you will be exposing his head, but we'll forgive that because you have Flying DeLorean mode. How cool. I'm pretty sure Siege Optimus did the same thing, but it makes more sense for this to do it because, you know, that's the movie. You know what? It's 2020. We were supposed to have flying cars more than 5 years ago. We got gypped. This really is the darkest timeline. And don't worry, the gun has a perfect little storage spot right underneath where that's not where the flux capacitor is supposed to go, but, you know, it's just under kibble. So, again, I'll forgive you. And the gun does tuck very neatly under there. And when you're in driving mode, it has enough clearance so you don't have to worry about it dragging. So that's all well and good. Alright, so let's get Gigawatt into his robot mode. And, oh, by the way, I'm pretty sure this is a heavy retool of Siege Sideswipe. I'm not completely sure who, but if it is, but I've seen side-by-side comparisons. I'm pretty sure this is the Siege Sideswipe mold. But don't quote me on that because I don't actually have Siege Sideswipe. But, that being said, it is a very good retooling. I mean, that looks like DeLorean. Oh, you know what? There is one more thing I want to do before getting into robot mode, and that was to show off the fact that the gull-wing doors actually open like gull-wing doors. That's a really nice touch. I mean, it's not like there's a car interior, but you know, this isn't an Alternity figure. It's just a you know, a regular Transformer car. I just like the fact that it actually does have the gull-wing style doors that a DeLorean has. That's nifty. I got halfway through transforming it before I realized that I totally skipped over the fact that it has an Easter egg with the out-of-time license plate, which, if I will go back to the packaging, you can see is right there in the reference artwork. Although it is interesting to note that if you go to the back of the packaging, it actually says Back to Future 2, like Back to the Future 2 on the back of that one. I'm not sure. Like, I do know that there was an initial run of this figure back in, I think, July, which was a limited release of only 1,985 units, because, you know, 1985, the year I was born, of course. Why wouldn't they not celebrate the year I was born? Yeah, I think, like, is this the license plate that the original one, the limited release, had, and then the out of time one is the mass-produced version? I'm not sure. I didn't actually do my research on that. But, you know, I digress. Anyway, let's get to robot mode. And here is our broad boy in robot mode. I like it. I mean, the hood of the DeLorean is kind of gigantic, but he just has this like really boxy aesthetic that just screams, "I'm from 1985!" Like, yes, he looks like a Transformer from 1985. This is what they looked like back then. This is perfect. The aesthetic is actually perfect for what they were going for. It's brilliant. I love it. Let's zoom in because he has some detail. If you look, his chest has the flux capacitor. Not sure if that should be center of mass like that, but it also has some dates there. October 26, 1985, October 21st, 2015, and November 12th, 1955, which are, of course, all significant dates from the movies. Too bad there couldn't have been a fourth line so we can get the 1885 reference in there, but, you know, like, we take what we got. Besides, I think they would have had to, like, have swappable wheels so that you could stick on the wheels designed to go on the rail tracks, if you want to do that. And look at his face! That is really cool! I like how he has, like, that gunmetal paint thing going on, and it sort of looks like he has glasses, and, he has little Batman ears. Like, I love it! I love this little helmet! Very, very cute. He has some expressive tilt. He can look left and right. He can't really look up very much. And it kind of you have to be careful how you're posing him, because if you have him leaning too far back, he can kind of disappear into his own chest. But it's perfect. It's just enough. I did not expect to love this as much as I do. It is so wonderful. Okay, so he has wings on his back. A lot of good Transformers have door wings. I actually kind of like how they actually are like little flappy wings back there. Like, I called them gull wing doors, and now they actually are like gull wings. Okay, so you saw the head articulation, shoulders, pin discs so that they can go out, and they rotate all around. Nothing blocks. He has 90-degree bends at the elbows, and bicep swivels. The fists don't rotate, which is a shame. There is a transformation hinge. The thing is, I wish that his arms could move enough that he could pull off this pose. But let's see, if I rotate that around, have him look this way, have him put his arm up like this to make it look like he's looking at a watch, and then, it's the best I can do. It just, like, the arms just don't have the range to get past that gigantic chest. They're just a little bit too short. But oh well. I mean, for the 1985 blocky aesthetic they were going for, that's perfectly fine. It's fine. I don't mind. Not a lot of Transformers can pull that off anyway. He does have a waist joint. Yep, so he can do that. And his legs have plenty of range. There's pin discs galore. Wonderfully tight. Nothing wibbles or wobbles. It's all good. You can get a full splits, and it goes all the way forward and all the way backwards. I actually like that. Too many action figures these days, like the sculpt of the butt prevents the legs from going back, but this guy can pull off full range in all directions. Like, who would have thought that it would be Gigawatt, the Back to the Future crossover Transformer, that would have such range? And then he has thigh swivels, and then a knee. Compared to how much range the hips have, the knee is actually a little bit shallow. It doesn't reach 90 degrees in the bend. In fact, I don't even think it reaches 45 degrees in the bend. Although it does go backwards, like the knee can bend backwards slightly, so I guess the range is more than 45 degrees if you call that, but you know. Still, it's enough. And then he has ankle rockers. The ankles can go way down, and then not really anything in the toe joint. And this is a little loose. I wish this was stiffer, but you know, aside from that, you can get his feet nice and flat in very wide-legged poses. He has his gun with the Mr. Fusion stuck on the back of it, which easily slides into either hand. Although, with the Mr. Fusion attached, it doesn't want to go all the way down. If I take the Mr. Fusion off, then the gun goes further onto his hand and makes it easier for him to hold it. So yeah, the Mr. Fusion, there's no place to actually mount the Mr. Fusion, because where the mounting point is here on the back of his leg. I guess the circle's still there, but with it cut in half, like, it's pretty precarious. Although it does seem to be holding better than I thought it would. Although it is kind of weird to just have the Mr. Fusion dangling off the back of his leg like a bunion. But whatever. The lightning hook, it goes into a peg hole on the side of his arm and gives him like a... I think it's supposed to be like a hook weapon, but it just looks like he has a fishing pole stuck out there. Whatever. It's still cool. It's nice that he can use all of his accessories in robot mode as well as he did in his vehicle mode. I love this. I love it so much. This is a thing of beauty. I mean, I'm a huge Back to the Future fan. That movie literally came out the year I was born, so I'm a huge fan of it. Even though it was, like, I think I remember seeing Back to the Future 3 on its original home video release. Like, when it was the hot new thing on VHS. But, yeah, like, obviously I was born the year the movie came out, so I didn't really get to appreciate it until several years after. But yeah, Back to the Future is one of the first sci-fi movies I ever remember actually seeing when I was a little kid. So I guess by that logic, the next Transformers crossover figure should be a Johnny 5 robot for Short Circuit 2. Oh wow, imagine if Hasbro actually did that. But yes, this is a really good Transformers crossover. I like that the Transformers crossover figures are good now, because like Transformers crossovers used to be so disappointing in the past. Although I still want my Enterprise Transformer, because you made that crossover, Hasbro. I want Tiberius Maximus as a frickin' toy. We need the Enterprise Transformer. And if we're still going to stick with retro 80s stuff, I also want Kit from Knight Rider. He is a sexy, sleek black car. Give him a robot mode with a head sculpt that looks kind of like David Hasselhoff, and that would be brilliant too. Now, I do know that they've already made another nostalgic 80s movie into a crossover figure that is Maverick, the Top Gun crossover figure. But I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get Maverick. I've seen it. It looked really good, but I sort of had my appetite sated for the super realistic jet mode that turns into a robot with like a flight helmet for a head in its robot mode as in Machine Robo, Eagle Robo, Leader 1. So if I didn't have this, I would be all over that Top Gun Maverick figure, but I do have this, so I'm going to skip that one. At least, unless it goes on deep clearance or something, which I doubt. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Gigawatt, and he is a fantastic figure, which you absolutely should get if you're a Back to the Future fan. I ordered mine from GameStop.com, where he cost $30, which is a little bit much for a deluxe. In fact, he's not even that really tall. Like, here is Headmaster RC, which, as we all know, is based off of the Blur mold, and she is literally a head taller than him. So, do with that information what you will. But yeah, he is my big, blocky, chunky 80s boy, and I absolutely love my chunky 80s boy. So, oh yeah, IDW is also putting out the comic book, the Back to the Future Transformers crossover comic. I got the first issue at the beginning of this month, and the second issue is coming out November 4th, so I'm gonna enjoy that. But yeah, that is my review of the figure as a figure, and I love him. I don't know if I would have loved him as much if I wasn't that into Back to the Future, but I do believe he is an objectively good toy. Like, he's well engineered. So, yeah. This is Wakeangel2K1 signing off.